Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of RAYNz Gaming. My name is RAYNz, and today it's time to just do it. No messing around. Nike is here on the battleground of the gods, and she is ready to be tested in the public test realm. So I'm going to walk you through all of Nike's abilities. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a suggestion for how to build, and granted that I haven't theory crafted a lot for this goddess, but I do want to give you some basic tips for how to build warriors and some things you want to keep in mind when you go into experimenting with your own builds, which you inevitably will do as you play this god in PTS testing and when she comes out next week, I believe. Now, just before I get into this, I want to let you know that my opinions on this, there's a lot of opinions going around about Nike, okay? And let me tell you, they're not invalid. I just want to say my opinion is based off of a guy who plays Smite for fun. I do not work on the Smite design side. I do not do the extensive type of balance discussion and all of that goes on with paladins in my life. So I just want to let you all know this is not from like an insider dev perspective. This is from me, RAYNz, the YouTuber, the Smite fan and player on his off time. Okay, so that's what I want to let you all know. And I'm not going to remain idle. Game, damn it. Trying to kick me out. Now, Nike is the goddess of victory, and I know you all want to know about the skills and the abilities first, so we're going to move into that very quickly. Here they are, just so you can take a look at them, and the goddess of victory, she is. I got to say that a lot of people call Nike OP, and I wouldn't say you're wrong. I think a lot of gods come out and are very strong, and I actually have made videos about it. I like it. I don't mind it at all. Now, I know that a lot of people are saying, well, RAYNz, you're not playing mid in Conquest and getting ganked by Soul Laner here, or you're not freaking having to deal with this, and you're right, I'm not, but I do just have to say that there is a level to me that really appreciates gods that come out that you know are going to get played. You know, I mean, I get the fact that you want a god to be completely balanced, and I'm all about that, but I would definitely rather a god be a little bit overtuned and get slightly undertuned than, you know, come out and be underwhelming and, you know, be something that's like, oh, Smite's making these underwhelming gods. I'd rather it just, you know, I think it works a little bit better this way, to be honest, but to each his own, and I'm not going to judge you for that. That's just my personal opinion. Let's get into the abilities and at least agree on one thing, that she does look pretty dang cool, and her movement skills are absolutely fantastic. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change my mouse, because that mouse was a Paladin's FPS mouse, and now I got my old nice mouse here for my MOBA action. All right, so here we go. Raw's trying to attack me, but let's talk about the passive. So basically what happens is Nike has this passive called To Victory. Now what this is a team-wide global passive that essentially affects every single member on the team, no matter where they are, once this passive is activated. And the way you activate it is there are 3 tiers of it. So the first tier is basically achieved by achieving one of the 3 goals set here. One of the goals is to eliminate 10 gods as a team. So when that goal gets reached, you'll get the first tier. And that tier, not like the tier that got a buff this patch, which is, I know a lot of people are talking about that too, but in terms of TIER, will allow you 8% bonus power and 3% bonus movement speed to your entire team, as well as yourself. But don't get me wrong, it gets better. If you do number 2, which is eliminate 200 minions as a team, which is not long for a game, right? And it's including every single person on that team in every lane is going to be counting the minions they kill to that goal. Once that's reached, you're going to get the second tier, and then you'll all receive 10% bonus power and 5% bonus movement speed. And of course, as a third tier, at least 2 of your allies need to hit level 20. So as long as you don't get just stomped early game, you will be able to hit this, and that's like just kind of like free tier late game, and you'll get that extra 2% on top of it. So ultimately 12% power and 7% bonus movement speed to every single member of your team. That's very strong. I know a lot of people are really excited about that, and a lot of people are really scared about that too. So we're gonna take a look at her and her abilities now, and I think the best way to describe it is to look at actually a plan of action. So plan of action is her number 2, but it's a stem that will stimulate her other abilities, Rend, Valiant Leap, and Sentinel of Zeus, and will only stimulate one based on the one that is used after she activates plan of action. So if you use plan of action and then you use rend, that will be the one that gets stimulated and adjusted. It will change and have a special effect, and then all of a sudden you will see Valiant Leap and Sentinel of Zeus. They won't have any extra special effects. If you wanted to have that, you'd have to wait for plan of action to get off cooldown and then use Valiant Leap. So plan of action just basically is going to give you HP 5, and it's going to give you bonus damage. So your next ability cast will be bonus damage. So it's not like basic attack damage. That's going to be normal. But your next ability will get bonus damage. And as you can see, it seems to be lasting for like ever, basically. Because the passive is the HP 5. You don't have to activate that. You just gain that. And that is something that's good to distinguish. You don't have to hit it to get HP 5. You only hit it for the bonus damage on your next ability and to basically augment one of these others. Let's talk about the first ability here. First ability, Rend. Basically, she slams out the ground twice, doing damage. Boom. And just looking sweet. But there's a third time. Now, what was that third about? That third was a result of plan of action. So normally you'll just do 2 bits of damage at 190. You'll get protection shred on those as well, which is 20 protections, which is very, very strong. And that target loses 5 protections. Sometimes a man gets confused, and this is that moment. Hello, I'm Raynday, and I'm talking about Raynday, who you're seeing getting confused about Ren's abilities. What happens is the protection shred is applied to the target if they're hit by both strikes of Rend, and that's 20 protection shred, and it lasts for 5 seconds. I'm sorry I made this so confusing. Continue with the video. What it would then do is if you hit a third time and you have plan of action going, it would actually, Ra, what are you doing out here, Ra? What it'll actually do is, see all these basic attacks? He's disarmed. No basic attacks for 2 seconds. So Ra, he traveled too far. He got too close to the sun and burned. And speaking of burned wings here, Nike seems fine despite how close to the sun she got. And she's actually able to disarm her opponent. So this is really good, obviously, in solo lane. A lot of people are already looking at the implications of that. And it's very strong. 2-second disarm. Quite a long time. Her number 3, Valiant Leap. Essentially, it's just a leap. The way that plan of action deals with it to keep things quick, as you can see, essentially it's just a leap. It's actually, think of on her and, I mean, Nick Pretty here was saying it's like on her and Hu Yi, and maybe it is, but really it has the effect of like on her, and you get that like very sound, you know, boom, thump. And you could just basic attack them. They're going to stay straight. They're going to go straight up from where they are. They're not going to basically move with the directional momentum that they had. They will just go straight up, so you can hit a couple of basic attacks onto them for free. If you notice the basic attack chain really quickly, it's just boom, boom, boom. It's just 1, 1, 1.5, and actually the first 2 attacks cleave. So the first 2 attacks will hit multiple people in an area in like that wide-ranging arc, and the last one is a single target, but it will do 1.5 times the damage, and that's pretty unique. They actually haven't done that kind of reverse cycle before. The 2, it will actually only make that jump faster. If you notice, the animation for the jump was faster there. Of course, you get the extra bonus damage because this applies that bonus damage, but you just get a faster jump. So in case you're just looking to like, you know, have, you know, be in a situation where you're just taking somebody down who's a little bit tricky to catch up to, or maybe they're about to round a corner and you just want to get there quick, you might just throw that 2 onto your 3 so you know you'll be able to close the distance and hit them before they're able to just get that, you know, create that gap that means that they're going to get away, right? Looking like a Janus about to get to a portal. Maybe you'll be able to throw your 2 down, 3, knock him up, and then maybe by the time he's done, the portal's gone, or you've been able to kill him, or you've been able to CC him again with another one of your teammates because of that stall to do a lot of work. So already really strong. She got that knockup. She got that disarm. Let's talk about the ultimate. This is what a lot of people have kind of been talking about with the ultimate. That I know Hinderman was like, what? How is this all going down? And I think it's really cool. It's a really hard skill shot. Let me just put it that way. So pretty much it hits everything in like a huge AoE. So really, really hard to do. Basically what it is you can see for this entire period of time, what I just did is I applied a slow to my enemies of 40%. Now actually 30%, excuse me. Now what I also did was I applied a 40% max health shield to myself. And so that is 40% of my max health, which means, look at that. That's like almost half of my max health added on top of my health. So I basically just gained a little bit less than, you know, 1,000 health on top of that for the duration of the 6 seconds while they were all slowed. Now, again, you can apply the 2 to that, and what that would do is give you 60% max health shield and a 60% slow. It would go from a 30 to 60% slow, which is just absolutely great if you're Nike. Bad if you're other people. Fantastic if you're Nike, right? So you throw that 2 down, and your next ability, boom, and they are slowed for just heebie-jeebies, man. Heebie-jeebie Hades, they are slowed. I don't even know if heebie-jeebie Hades could beat Nike right now in solo lane. I'm just kidding. Heebie-jeebie Hades can beat anybody. You got to go pick that up. Digital loot pack, 1,500 gems. You know what I'm talking about. Now, the truth is that Nike with this kit is probably going to be an instant, like, ban slash topic of interest, as I believe is great for a lot of gods to come in to make sure that people are either playing them or, you know, respecting them as a new force in the realm. I think that's how you keep the meta shifting, you keep the game interesting, and of course balance is the goal. And I think through the design team, they've shown, and a lot of people may agree or not agree, in my opinion, they've shown that they've made the correct adjustments and been relatively in tune with the community to notice if, hey, this is just really strong. Everyone says it. We kind of know it. I think we need to tune this down a bit. And in PTS, if you have a lot of feedback about Nike, please give it. You'll be able to help influence, I'm sure, the designers and the balance team's decisions about how Nike should be. So that is the kit. That is Nike essentially. And let's talk about building. I'm not going to give you a straight build. Obviously, you can go something. This is what they kind of recommend with her. Stone of Gaia with that HP 5 will actually work really nice with Nike, but you don't want to pick it up too early. I think in general with Nike and with Stone of Gaia, it's an item that you might pick up a little bit later in the game, but that real passive of 2% health regeneration combines really nicely with her number 2. So picking that up actually is not a horrible decision. It's just maybe not something that you're going to do, especially when you look in the competitive scene. And obviously a pro doesn't need to watch this video because they're going to be doing their own theory crafting with their team, their coach, whatever. But if you're in a casual perspective, this could be a really nice synergistic item. Now, looking at Jotun's Wrath, which is listed here, this could be a very strong item for her as well. Now, I like to offer this advice, and if you see my top 5 ways to be a better warrior, you can look at items like Jotun's Wrath, you could look at items like Breastplate of Valor, and you see, why are they still impactful? Why do they still are they still staple picks onto warriors? Why do they have so much impact on a fight? A lot of it has to do with the cooldown. Because when you look at it, when you're a warrior, you're in solo lane, you're naturally getting ahead, so building straight damage isn't always imperative. In fact, a lot of times what you want to do is you want to get that level lead, you want to get your cooldown items, you get that damage, and you get that utility or that defense item that you need most. Sometimes it'll end up being basically a Bulwark of Hope. Mantle of Discord, fantastic item, which costs a lot of money, but if you can afford it, that's great. Spirit Robe is also something we've seen a lot of people grab because of the damage mitigation when you're hit with a crowd control effect. This is an item that you'll see quite a bit of kind of solo laners and people pick up. These are all a lot of flavor picks. High can be good if you know you're going to stack these early on in the game. It is Nike because of the fact that you're going to easily get assists with this huge ultimate that hits everyone. Pretty good choice as well. So you could do something like running that with a Spirit Robe. And at this point, as a solo laner or as somebody as Nike, if you're ahead, you're going to do so much damage just with Jotuns and Boots because of the fact that you're at that level advantage, and that makes a big difference. And now you'll have the sustain, you'll have a little bit of cooldown. Actually, you have a lot of bit of cooldown. You basically have max cooldown, which means that all those abilities are nuts. You talk about the 2 also scales in terms of it scales down as you level it up. So looking at that, what's my cooldown there? Let's just use a 3 and check it out. 8-second cooldown, and it's always back. It's almost back up. Let's look at the ult here. The ult, 60-second cooldown. That's really pretty low for that impactful and that dominant of an ult. The leap is going to be on a 10-second cooldown with that knock up. She's got a lot of survivability, and she's got a lot of damage if she wants it. She's going to be fine, just fine. Building this is kind of a core for her. Now, moving into your games, let's say taking it from a casual perspective or even a pro perspective, Frostband Hammer is an item that usually works well, gives you some more offense, gives you some more needed health. health because you're going to be frontlining, you're going to be, you know, initiating fights, especially as Nike in this kit. And so that health is going to help you, and also to keep people slowed. When you get that knock up, you get the slow on them with Frostbound Hammer, and that's going to allow you to really keep them in place. You throw it in there, and now all of a sudden they're slowed. You got this cleave on. It's really hard for them to go away from you. And when they do, you got these huge line attacks, which, by the way, just have great visual effects. I just absolutely love the visual effects that these have. And you're just going to be, I mean, that's a decent distance. Someone's going to have to run from you. You know, they get over and start getting there. Wow. I mean, that hits very far. And she's able to move. It seems like she's at a Fatalis speed. It feels like she has no movement speed penalty while she's doing that. She has no movement speed penalty while she's doing it, so it's going to be really hard to get away from her as she does that. So Frostbound Hammer is going to make that a lot easier. And then going into the final item, this is very flavor pick, right? You can go into more damage if you want to do something like that. Grabbing a Titan's Bane, grabbing a Brawler's Beat Stick for some more pin for your ability. She can be very ability oriented. As a warrior, a lot of times you may not do that though, especially with Nike being more defensive. Sometimes you may lean, okay, I need some more physical defense. And, you know, my attack speeds, because I've ended up getting, you know, because I ended up getting a little bit of that, you know, that kind of defense, and I've got that steroid, and my one has got this nice cleave on it. Maybe I'll grab Witchblade, get some physical protections, get the attack speed. Maybe I'm facing some physicals. This could be a nice item. You know, Higher Than Me and a Lion. It's not a bad way to go, and in a lot of respects, reflecting all that damage with 2 attackers. That's physical damage. And again, this is more of the portion of the video where people who just want to know more information can sit and enjoy. But basically, that's it. I mean, obviously, you know, I like Bulwark of Hope a lot. The crowd control reduction is great. It gives you the health, gives you the magical protection, but it also gives you the shield, which I think add the shield on top of the shield that Nike already gets. She's just too many shields to just continue it, like, to try and kill this girl down. And by the time you do, see you later. Right? And she's just, and oh, by the way, you chasing me? I'm moving back pedal speed, which is not as fast, admittedly. So that may not be the right segue, but you guys get the idea. Hopefully you enjoy this kind of look and intro to the new god. I know I'm excited to make it. I was in the middle of watching some clutch anime. I was like, you know what? I gotta do this. I gotta make this. I gotta let people know that Nike is here. I have to just do it. I told myself it was too perfect. So I just had to get myself out here. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of it. If you have any thoughts on Nike, I'd love to hear them in the comment section below. And I also like to think, what are your thoughts about Smite's release of this god? Do you like it? Do you like the kit overall? Do you love the design but just kind of hate the you know, the item, basically the number values? Do you think they should just be trimmed down a bit? Do you think it should be buffed? I doubt you're going to say that. Do you like where she sits right now? And are you willing to kind of check it out? Or are you just going to be grossed out if this makes it to live without any changes? I want to know your feedback. I want to get your kind of flavor and how you all are feeling with this new god. And ultimately, I want to see how you like the design of this champion. And if further gods, you know, should be kind of designed in a similar way if you like the trajectory that the design is going for Smite gods. And I have to mention, Champions is not a relation to League of Legends. It's a relation to Paladins, which I do all the time. So I'm just thinking Champions nonstop. I've had to get that in my brain. I used to call the Champions gods, and that didn't work because, you know, you can't call a Paladin character god. So then I had to get a serious part of my brain that said, champions, and now it's just seeping over, man. I'm hosting Super Regionals. I'm casting Paladins. I'm going over. You know, we got so many things coming up, man. It's great though, and thank you all for being a part of the channel and supporting and watching the video. As always, leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to. Close to 100K, and thank you all for being a part of that journey. We got some cool stuff coming up, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And as always, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you all next time.